If you watched my blackberry picking video, I know I said that in the next few days we were going to be trying to post kind of an update video to let you guys know, everything that has been going on. And then Scott had more car trouble. We'll talk about that here in just a minute. But he was gone for like the next week, basically. He works 3 days a week, and so on his off days, he was at his uncle's, who has like a nice shop, working on the car issues, trying to get them fixed, because he literally was having issues getting to work. So we couldn't get together and record a video, and a lot of times he's busy either running errands, getting parts for projects or tools or whatever, and that's where he's at today. It's been a week. Actually, it's been over a week, I think, since I released that blackberry video. I just thought, we would maybe just both get on separately. We would go ahead and just do it. That way it's more convenient to do it. I can do my side, and then he can share his perspective too. So what's been going on? It's been a crazy roller coaster ride.
Everything just keeps happening. Everything keeps happening fast and furious. And I want to talk to you about some of the stuff that we've been having issues with.
For the last month and a half, we have experienced vehicle issues with every single vehicle that we own. My truck broke down. His truck has been having ongoing issues, and a lot of it is just like really small, not really like, the engine blowing out or anything like that, but just maintenance stuff that wears out on a really old vehicle, and it needs to be replaced eventually, and we're the lucky people that get to do that. We won the lottery.
We've been having trouble with trucks. We've been having trouble with tractors. We've been having trouble with everything.
Like ball joints going out. He had to change the brake pads, and something was stuck with like the caliper, the pin in the caliper. It took him 3 days to get that thing out after trying everything. And then the ball joints needed changed. His shocks came unwelded, and so that made driving the car ridiculous. And so they ended up having to put brand new shocks on his car.
And it seems like lately, as soon as we start a project and we start to try to make some headway somewhere, something goes wrong, and we spend all of our time fixing that. So I've had like 3 flat tires in the past month. One of them blew out and messed up kind of the fender wall of my little Nissan. I've changed ball joints, uppers and lowers in that. I've changed the brakes. I've had the 3 flats. I also changed the shocks, because the shocks like broke off the bottom of the bottom shackles on the axle. I've spent the last month of weekends doing that with my uncle at his house, because he had all the tools there to do it and the know-how.
Right now it's drivable, like way more drivable than it was. Like the ball joints are fixed, the shocks are fixed, the brakes are fixed. So we've been dealing with that too. My truck, we replaced the alternator on it because it was absolutely worn out. And then we had another small issue with like it had a vacuum seal, and so we fixed the vacuum seal and changed the air filter, and then it's still throwing a code. It's running way better than it did. So for the time being, we are driving it when necessary, but we are also trying to figure out, do we miss a vacuum leak? Do we need to clean the mass airflow sensor, whatever that thing is called, MAF? We're figuring it out.
We had trouble with our tractor starting for a while. It just wouldn't start. It wouldn't turn over, wouldn't do anything. It turns out, I don't know what, it started working again for some reason after we started it a few times. Maybe the solenoid got stuck in the starter, but we got that taken care of.
Oh yeah, and our tractor broke down. Like it wouldn't start, so we figured that out. And then we were tilling up on some property down the road from us that we have access to put in kind of a secondary garden area. And the PTO handle, the handle that turns the PTO on and off, which is what causes the tiller to rotate, came off in his hand and is still like that. It's like the bolt broke. It's just permanently on now. We still used it, we completed the job, but we have no idea how to fix it. So there's that too. It's on the list. We've been so busy just getting bogged down trying to fix everything that is happening.
I'm sorry again, we haven't been getting videos out like we planned on. You know, life happens. And I know we've been told by a couple of people, you know, we need to record our failures too. We should just be recording all the time. And I agree with that completely. But when you got something that happens and you're like, I've got to get this fixed. I know that I need to be recording the failures too. But sometimes when something bad happens and you got to get it fixed, you don't think about turning on a camera. You know, you're thinking, I've got to get this fixed because I've got other things to do. So I'll try to do better with that in the future. Try to record those disappointing moments as well as those life-changing achievements. And try to be better at that for you guys. And you can see some of our ingenuitive ways of fixing those things.
Okay, this is real talk. I'm gonna be real with you guys. We're kind of struggling. Like, we're really discouraged right now and kind of down because we have been bogged down fixing one problem after another with our vehicles, every single one we own, and we've just been spinning our wheels here, and we haven't done anything to make progress on the homestead lately, and in like a couple months.
There's been nights when I was working on my truck at my uncle's, which is an hour and a half away, that I was over there until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning working on this thing, and I drive an hour and a half, and I get home at 2:30, and I've had to go straight to bed and then get up at 6 o'clock to go to work. So that's been a little rough.
You know, we feel under pressure to get things done because we're living in a camper, and you know, we were hoping to be in a house by this winter, but that is obviously probably not going to happen.
Oh, it gets stressful. I'm stressed out, and I know that there's so much that I need to do, and I can't do it, and I haven't been able to do it at all, and I can't get any projects done, and it's been rough, but I'm here doing it, you know, and that's the important part. As long as I can try to stick to it and not get too discouraged, maybe we'll get some of it done. So we'll see about that. But yeah, it's been stressful.
We're just going from one thing to another, putting out fires, and it's exhausting and it's stressful.
One of the other things I'm going to talk to you about a little bit is, you know, the effect this has had on my life and the way I'm feeling and the effect it's had on my relationships. It's been pretty rough on me as far as stress levels, and I feel like I'm not getting enough done. I'm feeling discouraged and disappointed, and I'm trying to just keep my chin up, you know. And Kyleen's trying to help me with that as much as possible.
We've been bickering because we're both stressed, and we know it's stress, but you know, that's put a strain on things.
It has stressed our relationship a bit. You know, we grumble with each other, we bicker, we're both stressed out, and we're trying to keep each other on track. We get grumpy, hangry. You know, we're out here working all day and we miss lunch, and by the time dinner comes around, neither one of us want to cook, and we're both so freaking hungry that we're just grumpy.
It's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel right now. It's costing so much money. We're sinking money in parts for the vehicles, and then we're also having to spend money on tools to fix the cars. And I guess we could take the truck to a shop and pay someone to fix it, and we would save time, but we really just can't afford to do that. We don't have the money to pay someone to fix it.
And one of the other things is it seems like basically every time we get to start on a project or one of these things comes up, there's always something else I'm having to run to the store and go get because I need it to do the thing that I'm doing. And that's a never-ending process of just collecting things, but it takes me a while to go to the store. I try to think of everything that I can possibly get that I might need when I go to the store at that time.
It also hasn't rained in a month and a half. After raining every single day in the month of May, since then it hasn't rained at all. So it's like we're in a drought. It's been a month and a half with no rain, and the only thing keeping my garden going is I have to water it every day.
And then let's talk about the fact that we spend hours and hours when we're adding this new garden, hours and hours of watering the garden because, you know, in the springtime when we should have planted, it rained all the time. But since we got a late start on everything because of them being projects in the first place, now absolutely no rain, and we're spending hours watering every single day, 3 hours plus. Kyleen usually has a handle on that in the main garden at our house, but the community garden that we were doing, now we're every other day we're splitting that, and it's 8:45 in the afternoon tonight, and I'm about to start watering this 1,000 square foot garden. So it's gonna be a late one for me again.
And you know, then we have the animals to take care of, and then just the regular housekeeping. So that's a full-time job, and I feel stressed out about that, and then stressed out about the money, and then stressed out about the car issues, you know. And I know it's just life, but we're just having a hard time right now.
So one of the other things is that, you know, this is just way more expensive than we thought it was going to be in the first place. Seems like every time I turn around, I'm having to go buy something new because we need it to do something that needs to be done, or we're using it to fix vehicles that we weren't expecting to have to fix, or so on.
Everything has cost more than we anticipated, and I think some of that is just where we're at in our economy climate right now with inflation and stuff. Like, I think if we tried to do this like 5 years ago, it would have been way more economical to do so.
So we're running lower on funds than we planned on being at this point in time in the homestead history.
And trust me, we cut corners and buy used and repurpose things and pick up free stuff all the time, like whenever we can, because we're trying to be frugal about building this place and conserve our funds, because we have a finite amount of funds from selling our house.
And, you know, we were looking at getting portable buildings, a large portable building and 2 smaller ones, and making the large main room, living room, kitchen, dining room, bathroom, pantry. And then we were going to get the 2 smaller ones, and they were going to be separate, and we were going to make those bedrooms, you know, and we're going to do a little Y with a courtyard in the middle. It's going to look real pretty. It's really just kind of looking like we're not going to have the cash to do that without going back into debt, which is something we're trying to avoid because we paid off all our debt, and we came out here to try to live debt-free and sustainable. Working part-time, I'm not making the money that I feel comfortable taking on that much extra debt and being able to pay it off in a timely manner, along with the fact that even if I could, that would still leave us with absolutely no money to finish the things out and turn them into our homes. So I think we've decided that that's probably not an option.
We're at a place now where we're not even sure that we can do what we wanted to do or what we originally planned to do with our houses. We were feeling really stressed out and like worried about this situation and didn't know what we were going to do. And we were talking a few days ago, and I think we've decided to change strategies or direction.
And we've decided on, I think we're going to try to go with option number, it probably would have been our third option, but container homes. Containers are cheap, relatively speaking, when you consider the price of portable storage buildings or building a home or anything like that. You know, get a container for $2,000 to $3,000.
It's kind of a thing that's been going around, and it's so far it seems like it's going to be much more cost effective than buying those buildings. So like we could afford to purchase the shipping containers, and then we would still have the money left over to actually finish them out like we want.
You got to do the work to finish it out, but you would have to do that with the other building anyways, or with that if you built a house. You know, you're still going to pay for cabinets, you're still going to pay for frame work and all that stuff. We're hoping we can do as much of that as cheap or free as possible, finding really good deals on lumber possibly, or finding, you know, they're going to be inside of a steel building. Maybe we can, and they're not going to be load bearing. So maybe we can use some reclaimed materials and find good deals on them. Or maybe we'll find people that are just trying to get rid of some extra materials that they had from a project and get it for free or get it for really cheap. So we plan on trying to finish these things out, and we're going to put two big ones together and turn that into the main house. And we're still going to do the same thing, except for we're going to do it in like a U shape with a courtyard in the middle of it. Still look really pretty, a little more industrial than planned. But you know, I've seen some of these container homes and they look gorgeous, especially if you paint them a good like forest green or something like that, so that it kind of fits in with the scenery. Real pretty. So I think we're going to do that and try to save some money on some funds, have some money left over from buying those things to help us finish out the stuff that we have to buy because we can't source it for cheap or free. That's kind of where we're at on that now. We also still haven't even started that process, so hopefully we'll get there very soon.
It's kind of intimidating because we have minimal construction experience to begin with, and now we're gonna go with like this whole new different form of construction that we're gonna have to learn every step of the way. So that's gonna be a fun adventure. You know, so that gives us a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, but we're still in that we're putting out fires situation. So I don't even know when we're gonna be able to get there, you know, and that's discouraging. Good things has happened here. My garden seems to be thriving. I do have a few issues with it. I want to record like an update for the garden for you guys to see what it's doing and kind of see my successes, and then also I've got at least a couple failures, so that'll be fun. But a lot of it is thriving, so that's good.
Some of the good stuff that's happened in the last month and a half, and one of the first ones is Kaylin's favorite thing since he got back, is we got rabbits.
We got 1 buck and 2 does from a lady that was just looking to downsize her own homestead, and she was just trying to sell them, get rid of them.
That was really stressful because we weren't quite ready for them. We didn't have any rabbit hutches completely finished, and so we rushed home, finished one, worked till 9 o'clock at night, finished one, got them all in there.
That was a good thing. However, last week, one of the females had babies, and I was so not prepared for that yet. At all, in any way. And I opened up their hutch to feed them, and there was a squirming little hairless thing. She had 6 altogether, so there were 4 that I saved. So I rigged up a big box and built like a little nest thing in there and moved the babies in there. I had to, like, there were, otherwise they just all would have gotten trampled, you know what I mean? And they're so delicate and fragile. And so I was on this adrenaline rush, like panic driven, like I've got to save these babies. And then I decided I need to build another rabbit hutch stat.
And then Kyleen did a lot of work on a second one while I was working.
And so I built it, and it took me 3 days, lots of blood, sweat, and tears. Every day, in spite of me trying to help and save them, one of them died. And the mama refused to feed them. I started bottle feeding them, and then by the time I got them moved into the hutch, the very next day, the last one died. Let me tell you about an emotionally exhausting ordeal. I cried, not because I was attached necessarily, because these are not pets. These are here for a purpose. We got the rabbits to breed meat rabbits for food. I think what it was is that I just tried so hard to save them, and in spite of everything I did and me being so stressed out about them, they died anyway. And I know that's life and that's nature, but it doesn't mean that, it still doesn't affect you. And on top of all the other stress and all the other stuff that we're dealing with, it just pushed me over the top. I was just like, I can't even handle this. I can't even deal. And so we got through that, and I kind of made peace with the fact that it didn't work out. But it also makes me worried, like, well, can I breed rabbits for meat? Are they ever going to be good mothers? Like, I don't know. So I ended up moving the 2 females into the second hutch that I built. Our goal is to have another hutch built. We're going to build another one probably this week, and we want, a hutch for each individual rabbit. That way we can be in complete control of the situation and have babies when we want to have babies. But right now I'm discouraged about even being able to breed rabbits. Like, what was I thinking? Because that was an epic failure. So, but getting the rabbits was a positive thing. I love having them here. The other positive thing that we did was, like I told you, it's been like so dry here, no rain. I've been having to water my garden every day. And you know that we don't have running water here or anything yet. So we have to go bring in water from the spring that's not too far away from us. And we were using 6 5-gallon buckets, which is about 30 gallons of water at a time. But then when it's like it stopped raining and I was having to water my garden every day, there was no way that we could viably keep that up. Like, Scott would have had to go every day to get water. And with gas prices, no one has time for that.
One of the biggest great things that we've done since the last video is we bought IBC totes for water. So basically, I've got, instead of using buckets, I've got an IBC tote up the hill from our house. So we're gravity feeding down to water our plants and get water for ourselves. I've got one up here at the top of the hill at the community farm that I'm going to be feeding into, and then gravity feeding the water to water this thing. And I've got one that I keep empty in the back of the truck, so that way we can take it out, put it in. I don't want Kyleen to be stuck with a full tote of water in the back of the truck because we can't get it out. And an emergency happens, you need to drive somewhere, or a half full one, that's even worse, it pushes you all over the road. So we keep the one in the back of the truck empty. That way the truck's easily driven if an emergency happens. And I am now hauling water with the addition of the tote for the community garden twice, filling up each one once a week. But that's a lot better than not being able to water our garden because there was no rain and we were hauling in 5-gallon buckets and going every 2 to 3 days just for our own consumption and washing dishes and such like that. Now once a week, spend 30 minutes out there, got water for the house for a week. Once a week, 30 minutes out there, got water for the community garden watering for the week.
So that's been one of the most positive changes and things that we've done here. It's just temporary still. I mean, we know that, but it is way more viable than what we were doing. And it solved our water crisis. And it enabled us to be able to water the garden every day, take care of all of our drinking, cooking, house cleaning, laundry, showers, whatever we need. I don't have to worry about conserving water now because I was always worried about it and always thinking about it. It is just a temporary measure, but until we get further along with our building progress in terms of building our house and our gravity fed water catchment, rainwater catchment system, which right now that doesn't look very helpful because we haven't had rain in almost 2 months. So I don't even know if that's going to be worth it. I joke, but you know, we have to laugh and make jokes, because if we don't, we'll cry. Or I will, at least. I'll cry. I'll break down and cry if I don't joke about things. So if we joke about things, it's not because we're, you know, sometimes it's not because we're just extremely happy and have great senses of humor. It's just that we're trying to make light of a situation that's just like really crappy, and we're trying to look on the bright side of things and not let it get to us. So we're gonna keep going on.
Yeah, we're just gonna keep on keeping on, you know, try to make it on through this stuff. So,
and we're gonna get through this. This too shall pass. It's just a phase, a thing. We'll get through it, and eventually we'll have everything fixed on every vehicle, and we will get a reprieve from that for a while, and hopefully we'll be able to start making progress towards building our homestead here. I hope that in a year we'll look back on this video and be able to smile and appreciate where we are in a year's time. That's all I got. That was our real talk. That's how it's really been here. Just life. You just have to look at the things that you are grateful for, things that are working. We're here, and that's more than I ever dreamed. So no one ever said it'd be easy. Well, until the next time.